Hey guys, this is the Demon Corpse, and today we'll be talking about Microsoft not happy with Xbox. Well, it's not that shocking, but for me it really isn't because I don't know, it's just kind of obvious because yeah, it looks like they're not happy just because of all the games that have been coming out by Xbox. And let's just say all these games right now, they're not Xbox games. They're just by Bethesda Studios that is owned by Xbox. But let's just say if they did not own Bethesda Studios, there would be nothing coming out this year by Xbox. Except a Forza game, let's be honest. Last year was Halo I think it was it last year? Oh no, it was last year. And yeah, last year, even if they didn't own, even if they didn't own Bethesda last year, there was going to be nothing. Like that's like that's like the whole thing right now with Xbox, and I think it's just because of Game Pass. I think with Game Pass, it has declined the actual like games as a whole, like because if all your exclusives are going to be on Game Pass and PC, then there's not much of a idea to make it a really good game. And that's why every game that comes out by Xbox, mostly just Xbox studios, is a bunch of crap because of Game Pass. And like I like Game Pass, it's a good service. I think no one's going to deny that, but it is affecting their games, and it is disappointing and kind of like, yeah. And I know High Five Rush, woo, but yeah, I'm not. I'll play it at some point, but I'm not that interested in playing High Five Rush. A Rush. What about that Scalebound? Oh wait, that game got canceled. Sadly. Oh well. I guess that wasn't interesting. Instead we got Crackdown. That was a complete disaster of a game. That game went down clearance fast. I think I got it for like $5. Like that's the Xbox experience, getting the games for dirt cheap because no one gives a crap about them. It's just how it is, sadly. And they used to make it's Xbox used to make a lot of good stuff, even back from the OG Xbox and the 360, and even the Xbox One. There was some good exclusives. I would say Gears of War 4 was a good game, but it had its issues with multiplayer. Halo 5. I've always talked about that. I'm not a big fan of Halo 5, and I've always made videos about that. But at least the whole campaign was on the disc. Let's be honest about that. At least it was on the disc. But what else? That was WeCore that no one remembers, and that had issues because I did not know this, but it looks like the day one editions don't even have the ending built on the actual disc. It's you have to download. There was a definitive edition, but it's not that. It's like $40, so it's not that bad of a price if you want the definitive edition version, if you want to play it 50 years from now. So get that version. Let's just say if you want the definitive experience. What else? Project Spark that no one remembers. I think that's what it's called. It's like some weird rare game that no one remembers. A Sea of Thieves. It's not my type of game, so I don't really care, and most people don't care because no one's talking about it. And that's why on Game Pass. So, yeah, Gears 5, horrible story, horrible multiplayer. No one could play it. Story mode, bad. Gameplay is good, but that's all. So, Gears Tactics, that's actually pretty good. Gears Tactics was actually fun. Halo Spartan Assault never got released on Xbox One still for some. I think it's Spawn. No, it's not Spartan Assault. It's Spartan Strike. That's what it's called. Spartan Strike. That was released only on Steam. Still hasn't have an X. It's the only Halo game that's not even on Xbox, and it's a game you probably wouldn't really care about playing. But it's weird. It's kind of like Spartan Assault. If anyone remembers that game, it's a pretty fun game, but it has its moments. What else that's been kind of forgotten by Xbox? Phantom Dust, the reboot, I believe. That game's been forgotten for some reason. I think a lot of people would like a sequel because the game, for some reason, is $100 I that's what I've seen, and weirdly, it's free on the Microsoft storefront and the Xbox One storefront. I think it's on Steam as well for free, so you can download it and play it. I don't know why the game is worth $100, but somehow it is. Yeah, it's a physical, but it could get a re-release, maybe by limited run games. Maybe it could happen, but don't know. But it's just there's a lot of games that there's a lot of IPs, and I've said this many times before. They have a lot of IPs even before they bought Bethesda and Activision. They own so many IPs that they never use. Like back in 2015, they had a lot of IPs they could have used, but they never used them. And then they're going to push this whole thing. Oh, but no one cared about this stuff. Well, people do. It's just you don't push it, or you don't even advertise it. You just advertise Game Pass, and at the end of the day, Game Pass is probably the thing that most people like using. For me, I like using it. I've used it. It's a really good service, but at the end of the day, I know what has value, and actual physical copies have value more than. And I understand someone's going to say the whole thing of, well, they don't put the whole game on the disc. That is true, but that's like 98% of most physical copies that get released. Every game that gets released is like 99% complete. If there's DLC, then yeah, then you may want to wait for a definitive edition or just buy it on Steam. Like most of the games I own are complete on disc. I always check. Always check. If it's a Call of Duty game, I don't really care. I'm just gonna buy the disc and play it for like I'll wait until it's like $1. That's always do. I always wait until I always find a way to get them for free anyway. So I kind of just don't really care about the Call of Duty games. If I do get a physical copy for free, then I'm like, oh nice. And most of the time I do, so I just like, who cares? I'll just put it in and play it and capture it and then show you guys me dying. Well, not dying, but just playing it. So and that's about to become a somewhat IP of Xbox, but I don't know. I think Xbox needs to really think about how they do their Game Pass because they've already hit the mark on consoles, and now they're going to try to push it on PC, and even at that point, it's going to hit a mark as well because no one's going to sign up for that subscription. That's the thing. They're going to people who see a game they want to play, they're going to buy Game Pass, play it, then refund it, and just end it for the world, end it for the next month, and then wait until next month. Well, wait until next year or so for another interesting game because no one's signing up for these subscription services. They aren't. You calculate, yeah, you're probably saving money in the long run, maybe, but I don't know. It's just a lot of calculations. But Xbox is losing money if they put Call of Duty on Game Pass, and that's a fact. That would be suicidal, in my opinion. If they do that, then they're losing money. They really are. I think they really, and as I said this before, they need to really look at Game Passes a little bit differently. I think they need to stop making their games day one. It is cool, but if their games are gonna look like crap at launch, then there's no value, in my opinion, with Game Pass. They need to just release these games for this much money. Don't put them on Game Pass until maybe next month, and then because if you can't get these, they need to have like some quality checks because yeah, these games are launching in horrible condition. Halo Infinite's a great example. And I know people say, what about Pentiment or Hi-Fi Rush? Well, those games were being worked on many years before Xbox bought Bethesda Studios. I don't know about Pentiment. I think Pentiment was, because of how that game is, it's probably was working when they bought Bethesda, but I don't know, but I know High Five Rush was being worked on many years ago, many before they ever got bought. Even Redfall and they just canceled the PS5 version. And I think that's also messing with that studio's, deadline because now they have to work on a version they probably won't really working on. And they need to, and I said this before as well, they need to discontinue the Series S. They have to. That system it's old, it's outdated, it's a good system, but it's crap. It really is because if you have to make the system mandatory, that's so stupid because most companies are not, well, most game companies don't want to release a Series S version because They just don't want to. They just want to release a Series X and Xbox One. Like, it would be interesting because I was so confused when I saw Resident Evil 4 remake get a PS4 copy. I was like, wait, what? I th- oh, and I was kind of confused because I was like, dang, I guess. And I was thinking, well, it makes sense because there's a lot of people who have a PS4 and they want to make that money, and I don't blame them. Make that money. So then I was thinking, oh, and then I was thinking about the mandatory because let's just say if Capcom wanted to release RE4 remake on the Xbox One, so they would have to make a PS4, PS5, a Steam version, a if it's on the Microsoft Store, I don't know. I'm not gonna add that. They would need to add an Xbox One version, and that would have to work on the S and X if it's because they have to test those versions. Then there's the Series X and Series X. So technically, it's around like 8 different versions of RE4. So I don't blame Capcom for not making an Xbox One version, and the Xbox One did not sell well. It was a let's just say a rocket that crashed land fast. It crashed very fast. So I don't blame them. And there's no games. Like there's no like exclusive that's like, "Oh my goodness, I want to play this game." Yeah, there's a lot of old games from the backwards compatibility and including some maybe exclusives like High on Life, but those aren't like things to be like that people are like, "Oh, I want to play that game." Like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, or this new game Starfield that I think it's going to run at 30 FPS, and that's going to it's going to suck, sadly. It's going to be 30 FPS. I'm not going to be like saying, oh, it's going to be 60. It's probably going to be 30. And that's going to be very disappointing, and it's probably because they're making a Series S version of that game, and they need to just discontinue the Series S and just say some games will be able to run on the Series S, but not all Series X titles can run on the Series S. They need to cut that mandatory crap and move on, let's just say. But what can I do? I'm just a guy with opinions, and you guys probably agree with this or not. At this point, PlayStation's been doing a way better job. Even Nintendo, besides the PlayStation platform, Nintendo, they already got this whole month ready to go. They already got the next couple of months ready. They're about to get a whole bunch of exclusives, even other games. I am gonna get a Switch at some point. That's the plan. I'm just waiting to see if they may go down. I know they won't, but and I may just start collecting the games first. That's what I mostly do most of the time, and I have somewhat started collecting my first Switch games that will be in a video I'll be doing soon. All for is it wait January, February, March, May in May. So it's gonna be a lot of things I've been collecting. So check that out when that time comes, and if you want to, it's just something I do for fun. Gotta make some good videos, but like even PS5, like the FF16, that looks good. Oh my goodness, I am more impressed now. That's gonna sell a lot of copies. That's a fact. FF16 is going to be a really good game. And yeah, I don't think well, it could run on the Series X, but they would have to make a Series S version because of the mandatory crap Microsoft wants, and they probably don't want to do that. And that the game is impressive. The loading times are really impressive in that game. It's impressive. It really is. They oh man, it looks good. I if you have not seen the gameplay and all that, you're missing out. That game looks fun. But I'm gonna wait anyway because I don't really like paying $70. But it's gonna go down in price. Just wait, it will go down. But yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Phil Spencer needs to really crack the whip on these people and actually start making games, or just discontinue the Series S, as I said before, and just move on with the Series X and probably make actual good exclusives because you guys own IPs. So but yeah, that's about all. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And shockingly, I'm supporting Sony. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Oh no. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Uh-oh. Really, the only issues I have with Sony, as I said before, is just the censorship policies, but that's all. They do make good games, but most of them are just story-driven games, except FF16, but that's a third-party exclusive that may become a first-party at some point. It's going to happen. I think at some point Sony will buy Square Enix, maybe, and that would be sad for the Switch. I don't know, but I hope if Sony buys Square Enix, I hope they still make Switch games because that would be sad. But that's about all. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you want to support me, go to my Odyssey channel. But yeah, that's all. See you, scavengers.